Hello everyone, and welcome to the Bill and Scott Sports Show. I'm Bill.
And I'm Scott.
And we're here to tell you everything that's going on in the sports world.
All right, so to start off with some local news, this past Saturday, before a crowd of 42,704, the UConn Huskies hosted the 15th ranked team in the country, the Michigan Wolverines, at Rentschler Field in East Hartford. This game was exciting from the beginning. After Michigan took a 7-0 lead, UConn scored 21 unanswered points to take the lead. Michigan rallied back and scored the last 17 points to win the game.
Although it was a disappointing loss for Connecticut, it was arguably the biggest game in Rentschler's short history. 2,000 temporary seats were bought in to meet the demand for tickets. Celebrities like Derek Jeter and Ray Allen were also in attendance.
Yeah, it was really cool to have those guys in. But overall for the UConn Huskies, this season has been disappointing. They were embarrassed in their first game by Towson, an FCS team, and in their second game they were beaten by Maryland, who's coached by Randy Edsall, who used to coach UConn in East Hartford.
Yeah, UConn definitely has a lot of work to do. And coming off 2 consecutive seasons of 5-7, Paul Pasqualoni, did I pronounce it? Pasqualoni needs to turn this team around or risk losing his job.
Definitely. He's on the hot seat from now on.
Yeah.
So moving on from UConn, another team around the area that needs to turn around is the New York Football Giants, also at 0-3. Here to talk about the Giants and NFL is our football correspondent, Ethan. Welcome, Ethan.
Glad to be here.
Hello.
So, the New York Giants, they've been struggling this season, as well as the whole division. They've been 0-3 this season. Even though they have been playing some tough teams, both offensive and defensive struggling have really been hurting them. Manning's been making some key mistakes. Obviously, in the first game, Wilson had some terrible fumbling issues. And even just the whole running game in general has been a mess, even though they did sign Brandon Jacobs.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
They're 0-3. It's a 16-game season. Do you see them turning it around eventually?
I see them finishing maybe around a 500 record. Maybe they can even sneak into a wild card spot if they're lucky.
If they're lucky, yes.
Yeah, because the Redskins aren't playing too well. So.
No, just the whole division in general is doing bad.
On the other side, the New England Patriots have started 3-0. What's been their key to success so far?
Well, the defense has really been helping. The past few games against the Bills and the Jets, they've managed to hold them within either below or a little above 20 points. And even though Brady and his offense kind of hasn't been the same as they have the past 2 years, ever since they lost those receivers, they've still managed to do all right.
Yeah, you mentioned the Patriots' defense. They've allowed no points this season in the fourth quarter. They're allowing an average of 13 points a game, and they're really picking up the slack because the offense is struggling. They have one of the worst red zone offenses in football so far, but Tom Brady always finds a way.
Yeah, especially the loss of Rob Gronkowski, and he's been their main target for the past few years in the red zone.
No Hernandez, no Welker. Danny Amendola's hurt, but they're the Patriots. They'll find a way. Hope they'll make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And the last of our local teams, the Jets, are a surprising 2-1 with their rookie quarterback Geno Smith. What have we seen out of them?
Well, they've kind of been on an up and down streak, because obviously the game against the Patriots, that was just overall sloppy on both sides, but defense, everything has just been okay this season. Chris Ivory hasn't really lived up to expectations for the starter, as Bilal Powell has really just taken the job away from him.
So, Bill, how does it feel that your Giants have a worse record than the Jets?
I don't know. No, I'm speechless. There's no excuses. No excuse for that.
But I mean, they'll turn it around.
They'll turn it around, but I'm feeling this weekend will be a little win. So they can't keep this up, or else someone will have to lose a job or
Big game
some
against
changes.
the Chiefs this week too. I think this week.
Yeah, the Chiefs are a team that's really exceeded expectations.
Alex Smith.
Yeah, even though they haven't played really the most fantastic teams in the first few weeks, they've still managed to be 3-0 under a new head coach in Andy Reid.
So in addition to the Chiefs, I guess, what other teams and players have been doing really well in this first 3 weeks?
Well, obviously the New Orleans Saints in the NFC, they've really been able to do well with Gary Payton coming back from the whole bounty thing from last year.
Yeah. Any superstar players so far this season that we might not have expected?
Jordan Cameron on the Cleveland Browns, he's managed to really perform well as a big target for the Cleveland Browns this season.
Yeah, how are the Browns doing?
They're even though the whole division and with that teams hasn't really been fantastic either. The Steelers are 0-3. The Ravens, they're barely above 500.
And so what teams have disappointed us so far?
Well, I think one of the big one is the San Francisco 49ers. They've really struggled this season. Kaepernick hasn't really been able to run teams like he did last year.
Definitely. I mean, there's got to be huge expectations coming off that Super Bowl season against the Ravens. But I think another team that's looked really exciting so far has got to be the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning is putting up video game numbers again.
Oh yeah, he's
Wes Welker.
He's a god of football. I tell you.
What is he? 37. Who knows if he'll ever stop playing?
Mm-hmm.
He's the Mariano Rivera of football.
We'll get to that later. I guess any other football news in the first 3
Well,
weeks?
the Miami Dolphins, they've also been able to hold their ground this season. They managed to pull off an impressive comeback win against the Falcons last week.
Yeah, they might put up a fight for that division. Rather weak AFC East. Well, I don't know. The Jets, all the teams are doing pretty well, but it's only been 3 weeks, so.
The Bills kind of found a direction with EJ Manuel last few weeks.
That's good. Same with the Jets and Geno Smith. That was a good matchup. I don't know if you saw that game the other day. It was really exciting. Came down to the wire, but the Jets took it. But thanks for joining us, Ethan.
Thank you,
for the
Ethan.
football report.
Thanks, Ethan.
Look forward to hearing more about it next time.
Well, now we can transition over to baseball. The season is wrapping up with only a few games left. We have a pretty clear picture of which teams will be in the playoffs. In the American League, the division champions are Boston, Detroit, and Oakland. And for the wild card, the race is boiling down to Tampa Bay, Cleveland, and Texas.
Yeah, we got to remember, under the new format that started last season, the top 2 teams in the wild card race will face off, with the winner of that game playing the best record in the American League, which is most likely to be the Red Sox.
Most likely.
Could be the A's, though.
Maybe, yeah. But hey, let's be honest. Before this season, no one thought the Red Sox would be this good. They finished the 2011 season with a 7-20 record to blow their 9-game playoff lead. Under Bobby Valentine in 2012, the Sox had their worst season in years. How did they turn it around, Scott?
Well, it wasn't easy, but it all started at the top. First off, Bobby Valentine was definitely not the right choice for Boston.
No.
The front office was very smart to bring in former pitching coach and former Blue Jays manager John Farrell. He's doing a great job.
He is.
He knows how things work in Boston. He's a player favorite, so a lot of good things are happening over there. And then the key on the field for the team is chemistry and getting all the players loose. The Red Sox dumped their high-profile, high-salary players like Beckett, Crawford, Gonzalez, and they chose to work with veteran leadership and young talent. It's a really similar formula to what worked for the 2003 Cowboy Up Red Sox and the World Champion 2004 team. You know, all those players, Johnny Damon, really loose with their long hair.
Oh, yeah.
Now this team's got the beards. It's all good. It's all good for the Red Sox, and it's working. They're the best ball club in baseball. The players are having fun. It's an unbeatable strategy, just playing the game. And
As long as you're having fun, you'll go far.
Definitely. And like I said, a ton of credit and respect has to be given to General Manager Ben Cherington and his staff.
It's funny because the Sox manager, when the team collapsed in 2011, is now managing the Red Hot Indians. Terry Francona has led Cleveland into the wild card race. The contributions from some unlikely sources, most recently 42-year-old Jason Giambi. Come on. He had a walk-off smash, 2-run homer to beat the White Sox and give the Indians 5 straight wins.
Wow,
How about that?
It is so hard to believe that Jason Giambi is still producing at that age. It feels like from that era of sluggers he was in, like no one else has left. But he's finding a role, and it's going to be a pinch hitter for a team that might make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's good.
Another star for the Indians has been Nick Swisher, a former Yankee player. He's having a solid season, 20 homers. But unfortunately, while these players are having good seasons, the current Yankee team is struggling, and they were eliminated last night, so they'll miss the playoffs this season.
Yeah. Well, the Yankees have struggled this season with injuries. Key players such as Mark Teixeira, Curtis Granderson, and Derek Jeter have all been hurt. Not to mention the whole A-Rod saga has been a huge distraction to the team. Rodriguez will meet with the MLB this fall to appeal his 211-game suspension of PED use. So.
Yeah, and a side note, we just learned that Bud Selig stepped down as commissioner for Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how the A-Rod thing is handled with that. But I guess we'll have to learn more about that later. But back to the Yankees, the future isn't that bright for the New York Ball Club. Jeter and A-Rod are only going to be getting older, and the team's losing key starter Andy Pettitte and Mariano Rivera to retirement. But Rivera's last season has been a bright spot for the Yankees so far.
Yeah, there have been ceremonies honoring Rivera at all the ballparks he pitched this year. He additionally received well-deserved cheers from Red Sox fans. Rivera pitched in this year's All-Star game and had the whole whole field to himself. It was a warm, magical moment. Not to mention, he did take MVP honors too.
Oh yeah.
This week, Rivera was honored with a ceremony at Yankee Stadium. It was certainly fitting that the best closer in baseball history and one of the good guys in the sport got this type of recognition.
Oh yeah, definitely one of the good guys in sports. I was reading the other day that Rivera was providing a lot of charity work in a lot of the cities that he's been going to. In his home country of, I believe, Panama, he's been doing a lot of charity work. So just an overall good guy. The New York Yankees will definitely miss him, and so will the rest of Major League Baseball.
Well, I don't know about those players, all those hitters that had to face him in the ninth inning with his cutter. I don't think they'd miss him.
All right, very true.
But they respect him.
That's a tough cutter. They do respect him. In the National League, our division champs are Atlanta Braves, Los Angeles Dodgers, and most likely the St. Louis Cardinals. They haven't clinched yet, but it looks like they will. And if the Cardinals clinch the division, then Pittsburgh and Cincinnati will face each other in the wild card playoff. And the Pirates. Surprise, first playoff.
Success story right there.
First winning season since 1992. 18
years. Wow.
18 years, Bill. That's 21.
Hey.
It's all good. It's all good.
That about wraps it up for this week's episode. We'll have more baseball playoffs and the NFL for next time. For all our viewers watching, I'm Bill.
And I'm Scott.
And we'll see you next week, folks.